Now this is going to be a bit of a different video. I ain't planned out, I ain't structured anything, I just know what I'm going to be talking about, roughly. But you would have seen from the title that I am finished with competitive bodybuilding. And in this video I'm going to go over why, what my reasons are, and I'm going to preface this with saying I'm not taking part in any high rocks competition or becoming a hybrid rock star. Thought I'd tell you that. That's not what I'm interested in. But let's start with what happened last year. Last year I competed. I looked way better than I ever did in 2023. I've competed 2 years on the trot, 23 and 24, and the intention was to potentially compete in 2027. Okay, to give myself enough time on the back end of 26 and give myself enough time to prep and change and look better and develop. And obviously that's been the goal since I stepped off stage, is to develop, and I had the intention of prepping again for a long time. And then I sat back and asked myself a question more recently of, why do I want to compete again? And my original answer was, I want to compete again to beat the last version of me. Which is a fair enough answer, to be honest, because that's what bodybuilding's about. It's constant development, constant progression, and the ability to be better than last time. For me, it was never about being better than anyone else. To an extent, when I've competed in the past, it's been about being better than I previously was. And then I thought of the cons of prepping for a show. I thought to myself, well, if the only goal is to be better than what I was previously, why do I need to compete? Because there's no beating around the bush. Competing costs a lot of money. Prepping costs a lot of energy. And there is a lot of sacrifices that I'm willing to make, and in terms of energy and being a little bit selfish for a period of time. I don't mind making that sacrifice, but I also think it's shit for some of the people around you. And I guess I say I'm willing, but I'm also not willing to put some of the closest people around me through that again to an extent, because I just don't think it's worth it for them. I don't feel like they, and when I say they, I'm talking about my relationship, my friends. I guess that level of selfishness is okay, but there's no particular outcome that I'm aiming for. That's the issue. I've got no issue being a little bit selfish when I feel like the outcome is going to be worth it. When I feel like there is going to be benefit to me prepping for a show or for multiple shows and doing a season. But what is the outcome going to be? What's the benefit to me competing again? To put strain on my finances, to put strain on my relationship, to put strain on my friendships, to be a fucking locked-in robot obsessing over my physique and food for 4, 5, 6 months. And again, if you've never competed, it is one of the best things that you will fucking do if you're into physique development. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it shows you what you are capable of if you put your fucking mind to it. Okay? If you choose to compete at one point or another, it is, in my eyes, one of the absolute best things that you can do. Whether you do it once or whether you do it twice, or whether you realize that you've got some sort of potential in the sport and you feel like you're going to get something from it, then it is by far unreal. The connections that you make, the community, the people that you meet, and just the level of self-belief that you get from actually getting peeled is something else. And stepping on stage and showcasing hard work and potentially vlogging and documenting the journey, it's something that you'll look back on and forever be proud of. But I feel like if you are someone that's already competed multiple times, and the next step really for me would be to try and win a show and win well. And also to potentially win something just a gold trophy, a proper gold trophy, not the medal that I won previously, which I won because I was the only fucker on stage. But I'm talking about like actually winning in a bigger lineup, and it just doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't. Being compared to other men and being told that they're better than me because of this, I need to bring up X, Y, and Z, where I understand my own weaknesses, and I also understand that there's going to be many, many people out there that are well attuned and way better than me at this sport. Better genetics, more willingness to push drugs a little bit higher, maybe more willing to be able to put the time into off seasons, willing to push the boat a little bit harder in terms of getting bigger within an off season, fatter, and just spending time uncomfortable in a sense of feeling heavy, feeling lethargic, feeling tired, struggling to be able to get the food down. I've been there, I've done that, and I can do it again. But like I said, I revert back to that thing that I said, and that's the urge. It's the itch. It's weighing out the pros and the cons of doing that. And I don't have many pros right now. And I feel like that's probably been why, for the most part, more recently, I've been stuck between a rock and a hard place, because I love physique development. And my coaching is always going to be revolved around physique development. But I have said from the get-go that I have absolutely zero intention of becoming a prep coach, being a bodybuilding coach. I want to know that if clients come to me and they want to prep, that is fine. That is exactly what I would love to help with, because at the end of the day, that's their initial goal. And they want to step on stage for the first time. But I will never want to be known as a prep coach for bodybuilding shows. I just don't, it doesn't appeal to me. I want to be an elite transformation coach for guys that just want to get in the best shape of the fucking life and maybe do a photo shoot, and predominantly do photo shoots. That's the goal. So this is where we revert back to why I wanted to compete again. And I guess it was just to walk the walk, and I feel like it's that level of attachment to something, of walking the walk and feeling that as though I need to stay within this because it's just what I need to do to attract more clients, to show my clients what I'm doing. I love eating well, I love training hard, I love developing. That will never change. So for me to compete, if I remove that, the other aspects don't change. The only thing it does is it gives me more opportunity to have maybe more freedom with the type of training that I do. And again, I will say this, I'm not going to become a high rocks fucking athlete, right? A hybrid rock star, it ain't happening. But I'm thinking, I've always enjoyed other aspects of training, more high intensity training, HIIT style training. That's absolutely nothing revolved around high rocks, but I just enjoy feeling fit. I enjoy feeling healthier. And when you are pushing performance enhancing drugs, when you are pushing food up, when you are at your heaviest and peak body weight, you don't feel healthy. And to get anything right out of life, you have to feel a bit uncomfortable. And there are levels to uncomfortable. And I will absolutely get lean again. 1000%. I might even get absolutely diced again, just not for a show and with a set of pants on and with a bit of fake tan. I might put a bit of fake tan on for a shoot, but not for a show. And not to be compared against other men, to be told that, well, he's a bit bigger than you. Might not be as lean, but he's a bit bigger than you, so we're gonna give him the award. I don't care to be compared with other men anymore, because I've been there, done that. And the only means for me to compete again would be to be better than I was. But if I wanted to think of it in that aspect, I can do that through photo shoots. I can do that through my love for training and eating well anyway. That's never going to change. Absolutely ever. But I wanted to find the answer as to why I maybe felt like I was a little bit stuck. And I think it was just that feeling of being attached to bodybuilding as my identity, and feeling as though I would get looked at differently if I says, I am not going to compete again. And I started doing things outside of bodybuilding training. It's a very fickle community in a sense of, if you look like you're doing something different, people are like, well, he's just trying to do high rocks. He's trying to be hybrid. I ain't. I just enjoy feeling fit, strong, and that's about it. Fit, strong, and looking the part. And when you push up, you feel like absolute shit because you're lethargic and you're tired. And again, I've got no need to do that at the moment. I've got no urge to do that, so I don't want to do that. So I'm not truly going to develop my physique from that standpoint by pushing aggressively hard and struggling to get food in. I don't have that urge to do that. And the same goes for getting absolutely diced, but for a show. Absolutely no urge to do that. No need, no want to do it. Now, I hate just staying in limbo. And I think this is where having that attachment to bodybuilding and the thoughts of you either bulk, you go through health phases, you do mini cuts, and then you potentially prep. Going through those phases for so long, you kind of get attached to this feeling of, well, if not that, then what? And that's what I'm trying to still figure out. Because I love having a goal. I love being uncomfortable, chasing a goal and chasing something, chasing some form of progression. But my love for competitive bodybuilding, outside of watching it myself and keeping up to date with what's going on, I have no urge to do it myself. Absolutely none. None. And I don't know where to go from here. I will always resistance train, but I need to take a bit of a different stance on things at the moment. Because I will never drop my eating habits. I will never change my intensity to training. I will never change my routine and fall off. But I always will love to have a goal, what's going to push me to another level. And like I said, we're still trying to figure that out. So we haven't come to a conclusion yet with what's going on, but I feel like it's going to be more down the realms of martial arts. And no, I don't think it's going to be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think it's either going to be boxing or something else. But I just want to challenge myself in different ways. And I've always been a big advocate of, if I don't truly feel like I'm in something, to not do it. The aggressive push-ups, the aggressive mini cuts, if that's your goal and you've never done it and you want to push yourself and you want to try and see how to develop your physique and to get the absolute most out of it, it is what you've got to do. And if you have a set goal of stepping on stage, it is going to have to be a level of commitment that you are going to have to deal with for a period of time. But you must make sure that you truly fucking want it. And the fact of the matter is, I do not want to step on stage again. It takes away more than what I gain. And it's not like a lot of people are going to really give a fuck, to be honest. I never had massive potential in it anyway. And I think, again, this is why pulling back from it is a wise idea. Because the potential isn't there. For a pro card, it isn't there. To get an outcome that's actually going to be beneficial for my life, it is not there. The only thing is, and what it does, is take away from my life, years-wise, from a health standpoint, by maybe having to push things a little bit harder to achieve an outcome which I would like if I was to compete. I ain't willing to do that. I don't see the appeal to that at all. So it's not as if to say I don't love the process of prepping. I do. But it's just not to be compared to other men anymore. Not to be compared to someone else on stage and to win a plastic trophy. I'd rather do it for the process of documenting a journey, documenting a outcome for something like a photo shoot. I've already got videos on here where I prep for a show and you can see the whole process. I've documented everything, including the prep itself and the show days. I've done that. But that's the thing that I'd like to do again, but I don't need to do a show day to actually do that and to action that. So it's been an interesting one. It's hard to take a step back from something that you feel like is the only thing that you know. And I really do think that sometimes you have to understand when's the right time to just say, enough is enough. And if you don't enjoy what you are doing, or you don't potentially see yourself pushing to the extreme of that thing because you don't enjoy it anymore, then you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it. Competing is so rewarding if you've never done it, because I guess if you've never really truly been lean and you've never truly pushed yourself, it shows you what kind of fucking cojones you've got, how big your bollocks are. It definitely shows you that, even though mine were fucking shriveled up in prep. But anyway, it does. It shows you what you are capable of. And that is a challenge. I am just someone who likes to develop and loves to challenge myself, and that's what I love. And when I feel like I'm done with something, I've got to take a step back and do something else. But training is never going to change, or training hard is never going to change. The way that I train might. Competing in some aspect is never going to change. Will I compete in something one day? I think it's always just going to be a case of competing with myself. And that might just be for photo shoots. That might be photo shoot preps with clients. That might be big group shoots and me getting lean with them and going through the process with them and documenting the full journey. That is what I feel like I'm going to do in the future from a standpoint of physique development. So it's never going to be like I'm truly going to step out of the physique development realm. I ain't. I love this shit. But I want a little bit more leeway with the style of training that I do, to not feel tied down to one style or one particular style of training, because other styles of training might actually have a negative impact on my ability to build muscle. Because let's face it, if you do too much high intensity training or high intensity interval training, guess what's going to happen? Your ability to build muscle is going to be less. You might get stronger, you might get fitter, but you aren't going to be able to build muscle like you would if you stuck with something a little bit less intense, like steady state cardio. If you say train 4 days a week and did some sort of resistance training 4 days a week or 3 days a week, and then some sort of took part in some sort of martial arts for a couple of days a week or once a week, and then some sort of HIIT training another time, again, you're limiting your ability to be able to grow. So then that competitive aspect, what you might have had aspirations for or you wanted to do, it kind of takes away from that. And I've fully committed myself to bodybuilding, or the competing side of things, for around 3 years now. And the urge to do it again and to do it anymore, and to be as restrictive as I was with the training aspect. I've always been a bit more lenient with food, in the sense of I have been one to have periods of pushing, periods of pulling back, and understanding that if I want to make significant progress, there has to be some sort of room for error with food. And it's exactly what I coach with my clients. That is important. Having flexibility with food whilst also having a degree of purpose with what you eat is absolutely fucking fundamental to make progress. It is. But when it comes to training, there is a little bit more stringency and rigidity with how you train as to where you're going to get the maximal kind of the maximal amount of benefit from. But I can honestly say I'm never going to step on stage again. Zero appeal. So yeah, don't need to give you any more of my life story. I was hesitant to make a video like this because, one, I'm thinking of me, who really gives a fuck? This might get like 2 views, who knows? And 2, they're going to think I'm doing fucking IROCs. They're going to think I'm going to become an hybrid rock star. I ain't. And the final one is, I guess it's having my identity tied to that side of things and feeling as though my business was going to fail. Wow. Saying it out loud is crazy. I guess they were the 3 things. And making a video like this, I guess, is more like therapy, to be honest. It's more like talking to a camera and just going, boys, this is what I'm doing for the future. This is how I felt. guess I ain't doing this sort of bodybuilding competitive thing anymore. I know you don't really give a fuck, but I still want to tell you and give my rationale behind it and reason why. But also, I'm never going to do the thing where I go, well, bodybuilding has ruined my life. It's ruined my relationship with food. It never did. It only added to my life while I was doing it, whilst I wanted to do it, because it gave me purpose and I enjoyed it. And that competitive aspect is what I loved and what I wanted to do for a long time. But then the moment I stopped loving it, well, guess what? I just don't compete anymore. I still train for the love of training. I still eat good food because I love fucking good quality food and feeling good. I just incorporate more cardiovascular based shit to feel a bit fitter, so I never feel lethargic and fucking shit again from pushing food up too high and having to ridiculously push myself out of my comfort zone to put on some more slabs of muscle like I have in the past in a short space of time. So yeah, hopefully you like this video. Bit more of a off the cuff style video, more raw footage. I'm not really going to edit it too much. I might read through it, watch through it, see what I think. Hopefully I'm just going to keep it the way it is. And if you like this style of video and you like the honesty and you've got any questions that you want to ask, just pop them in the comments or message me on Insta _Coach T Coleman. Give us a message. But yeah, it's not really the end of an era, but it's the end of the competitive side of me in bodybuilding. When you don't love something and when you're not truly in it anymore, and when it doesn't add to your life, it only takes away, that's probably when you've got to take a bit of a step back.